Hello again, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I am Tia Latrice, and as always, I am so happy to have you here today. Guys, I have a great video in store for you, but before we jump into this Pottery Barn inspired thrift flip, please be sure to click that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you'll know each time that I upload new content. Okay guys, so I saw this beautiful Giovanna black and white pattern tray on the Pottery Barn website. And as you can see, the cost for this tray is $139. I just could not bring myself to spend that on a tray. So I saw this comparable tray at my local Goodwill and figured that I would make the same look for a much lower price. The only noticeable difference between these trays, aside from the obvious design, is that this tray is about 2 inches larger in diameter than the Pottery Barn tray, which wasn't a problem for me. And even better, this tray only cost $3.99 from the Goodwill. So to create a similar look to that of the Pottery Barn tray, I figured I would try this foil backsplash wall sticker from the Dollar Tree. It wasn't a bad design. It did have some very defined lines in the pattern, and the width of this wall sticker was just shy of the 18 inches I needed to cover the diameter of my tray. I figured this size difference was small enough that I could probably still make it work, so I went ahead and proceeded to trace the outline of my tray onto the back side of the wall sticker. I just used a pen to do that, and then I just cut out that shape. Now, because I traced the exterior circle of my tray, I knew that it wouldn't fit perfectly inside the tray, but I couldn't really think of a great way to trace the inside circle without crinkling up the paper anymore. So I went ahead and did it this way, with plans to at that point place it inside the tray, trace another circle, and then trim any additional excess at that point. Now you can see exactly what I'm talking about in regard to placing it on the inside of the tray. There is a little bit of overhang, not a huge amount, but the other issue, as you can see right there at the top, there is a thick black line, which is just that exterior border of that wall sticker. So realistically, instead of even having that 17.7 inches or whatever it was, I really didn't even have that large of a space to use on the sticker, just because of that really dark defined black line. So I really was trying to make sure that in tracing this inner circle, that I positioned it in a way that I could cut off at least most of that thick black line. That's why you kind of see me picking it up and laying it back down and picking it up again before I finally actually trace that interior circle. So here you see me trimming that additional excess from the inner circle that I traced. There isn't a huge amount to be cut off, but just a little right there around the edge. Now, I do want to say, if you want to try this project and you do have a smaller tray, like a tray with a 16-inch diameter or smaller, this actually is probably a good option for you, especially if you're trying to do something for as low a cost as possible. This is a really good option if you do have a smaller tray, but just because mine was a little bit larger and this wasn't really the ideal size, I still wasn't extremely pleased with the look of this circle cutout once I was done. So when I flipped it over, I think I still saw a little bit of that black border, and I wasn't crazy about the pattern in comparison to the original pattern, so I went with a different option. I found this Easy Liner removable shelf adhesive at Walmart. And for this entire roll, guys, it was like $5 or $6. The diameter or the width was 20 inches, which is more than enough to cover the diameter of my tray. And it was 15 feet long. So I can definitely use this for this tray along with a lot of future projects. So it's definitely worth the investment. It's a few dollars more. But even all in all, the $5 or $6 for this shelf liner adhesive plus the cost of the tray of $4, it still puts me at $10, which is a huge difference from the $139 I would have paid for that tray from Pottery Barn. Now, let me just say, I did not include the cost of spray paint in my $10 total, just because I always keep spray paint on hand. You can always buy an inexpensive spray paint from Walmart. They sell it for like less than $1. Even if you get a better quality spray paint, it's only about, between $3 and $5 or even $10 if you get a really, really good one. I don't necessarily think you need to spend that much. I think the spray paint that I'm specifically going to be using, which you'll see in just a few moments, I believe that I paid like maybe $4 or $5 for it at Walmart when I got it. So even with that, $15 if you do have to go out and buy spray paint. One more really quick FYI, as you could probably already tell, I didn't retrace the outline of my tray. I just traced that previous cutout that we had from the Dollar Tree backsplash sticker. That way it was already perfectly sized to go inside my tray. All right, so now we are on to painting. So this is the spray paint I used, Krylon Fusion all-in-one. I think we went with a gloss black. Now this allegedly is supposed to adhere to all surfaces with no priming or sanding needed. So we'll see, if this has any longevity. I've never painted a piece that was already like so super shiny. It's kind of like a lacquer finish. But I went ahead and used this spray paint with no primer, no sanding, and you can probably tell the coverage is pretty good already. I didn't bother spray painting the very bottom of the tray because it was already black. But I did go ahead and start with the edges. I have this on an elevated surface. You probably can't tell. I wanted to make sure that it didn't stick to the cardboard. But I went ahead and spray painted all around the edges. Now with this spray paint, I think that they say it's supposed to be dry to the touch within about 20 minutes, and then like dry to the point where you can handle it within about 1 hour. And if you need to apply additional coats, you're supposed to do that within the first 2 hours. So I did wait, I think like 30 minutes before coming back and flipping this over and then doing the other part of the tray. But it did feel pretty dry. The coverage looked really good. I did kind of fill in a couple of places that I missed the first time around, especially like right around the handles and those little angles that I didn't get so well the first time. But the coverage again, guys, was really, really good. It only took me a couple of minutes to spray paint this. Like the first coat I think took about 2 minutes, and then when I came out, I guess just because I had to do a larger surface, including the bottom or the inside part of this tray, probably just took me an additional minute or two, so 2 to 4 minutes or so to do this additional coat. And then I did wait a couple of hours before trying to handle it once this was done. But when it was dry, I went ahead and brought that inside, and I took my shelf liner. And again, the back part of it is self-adhesive. So when you're doing any self-adhesive product, you want to make sure that you gradually peel away that backing away from the sticker part. Basically, that is going to help you to prevent unnecessary air bubbles and things like that. You may also want to use some sort of a item to help you like squeeze out the air bubbles. You can always use a tool for that if you have one, but if you don't, you can always use like a credit card or, you know, some sort of a flat, hard, like plastic surface or something like that. You don't have to go out and buy something if you don't have it. But this is what it looked like when I was done. And guys, I really love it. $10 versus $139. It's not identical, but it gave me enough of the look that I was going for. I was very pleased. I love the idea of having this on the bed in your guest room with a few necessities, bottled water and toiletries. Let me know what you guys think. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you do it? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.